If your business can't run without you for 2 weeks, you don't have a business yet. You have a dependency and probably a job. And scaling a dependency just multiplies chaos. Here's what's actually happening in most growth stage companies. The operating model that got you to $1 million in revenue, founder make every call, founder touches every task, founder holds the knowledge in their head, that model breaks somewhere between 1 and 3 million. Most founders respond by adding more people, more tools, more process, which is exactly backwards, because growth multiplies whenever you already have, including your mess. If you had 20% more volume to a tangled system, you don't get 20% more output. You get 20% more confusion, 20% more dropped balls, and the team quietly starts burning out while you're wondering why the numbers don't match the effort. If you scale before you simplify, you'll spend the next 12 months fighting fires you've created. Cash flow tightens because decisions are slow. Good hires leave because nobody knows who they are. And you, the founder, end up more in the weeds than you were at half the revenue. I'm Camper Bull, 20 plus years scaling companies into multi-million-dollar valuations. And I'm about to tell you a story where I was the guy who had to learn this lesson the hard way. Because if you think this video is about other founders, it's not. I've been the bottleneck too. And this one's on me. Years ago, I was sitting with an advisor going over how my business was structured. And he gave me what honestly is a pretty standard piece of guidance. He said, "You should be hanging on to the checks." What he meant was, as an owner, you should see the checks going out. You should know where the money's moving. Keep a finger on the pulse so you're not blindsided by cash flow. What I heard was, you should sign all the checks. And what I translated that into in my own head was, I should do all the banking. So for longer than I'd like to admit, there I was, a grown man running a real company, sitting at my desk on Friday afternoon, reconciling accounts, signing checks, logging into bank portals, pulling reports, handling payroll details that had nothing to do with strategy, nothing to do with growth, nothing to do with why anyone hired me in the first place. I was the most expensive bookkeeper in the company, and I had generally convinced myself that that was leadership. That was staying close to the numbers. That was being a responsible owner. It wasn't. It was a growing adult hiding inside a checkbook. And it took a coach, not me figuring it out on my own, a coach to sit me down and say something like, "What exactly do you think you're doing?" You heard one sentence of advice, you mangled it into 3 different jobs, and now you're a personal bottleneck on your own company's cash flow. And by the way, the rest of your leadership team is waiting on you while you do it. And he was right. I didn't want to let go. Bookkeeping felt safe, familiar. It felt like control. But what it actually was complexity. I was personally absorbing because I didn't trust the system I hadn't bothered to build yet. I was substituting my own hours for the hard work of designing something that could run without me. And here's where it gets real for you and honest for me. The reason we create strategy sessions, this podcast, the one you're watching right now, is that my team and I are in the middle of simplifying our own processes. Our viral social stacking system has over 500 tasks in it. 500. And that number exists because we never sat down and asked, do all of these actually need to be there? We added and added and added. So the content, this whole channel, is literally the output of us going through our simplification work out loud, in public, while it's happening. So when I give you the 3 actions coming up, understand, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking with you. This is the work I'm doing on my own business right now. And here are 3 moves that will make it real. Action 1, before you add anything to your business, a person, a tool, a process, cut 3 things. Most founders operate on a default setting of addition. New problem, add a hire. New efficiency, add a tool. New complexity, add a process to manage the complexity you already have. And all you have done is create more surface area for things to break, more things to manage, more cost on the books, and the more complicated organization chart without ever removing the root cause of why the problem showed up in the first place. The discipline is subtraction first, before you add. You audit. Before you hire, you cut. Before you scale, you simplify. Here's the exact exercise I run with clients. Pull up everything your team does in a given week. Every recurring meeting, every report that gets generated, every dashboard someone is maintaining, every tool you're paying for, every process step into your core workflows. Write them down. Actually write them down. Don't do this in your head, because what's in your head is always cleaner and more justified than what's actually happening in the trenches. Run every single item through the 3 questions. 1, if we were to stop doing this tomorrow, would a customer notice within 30 days? 2, if we stop doing this tomorrow, would revenue drop, cash flow tighten, or something operationally critically break? 3, if we stop doing this tomorrow, would the team be quietly relieved or genuinely panic? If the honest answer to all 3 of these is no, kill it. Don't optimize it. Don't delegate it. Don't assign it to the committee to review. Kill it. You'd be shocked how much of what's on your company's plate exists because it exists last quarter. Not because it's producing anything. Reports nobody reads, meetings nobody needs, tools nobody fully uses, processes invented to solve problems. That no longer exists. Our viral social stacking process had over 500 tasks in it. We're currently cutting it in half. And what we're finding is the output is getting stronger, not weaker. Less is doing more. That's the rule. Strip first, then streamline, then scale. Strip first, streamline second, scale third. Do it in that order, or you're going to pay for it. Action 2. Every task in your business gets exactly 1 name on it. Not 2, not the team, 1. This is where most founders leak the most time and the most money, and they don't even see it, because the symptom isn't nothing's getting done. The symptom is things get done, but slowly, sort of, with a lot of back and forth. The founder keeps getting pulled into break ties, make calls that shouldn't be landing on their desk. That's not a people problem. That's a team needs more training problem. That's an ownership problem. And here's the filter. For every recurring task or outcome in the business, you need to be able to answer this question in under 5 seconds. Who owns this? Not who works on it, not who helps with it, not who's on the email thread. Who is the single name accountable for this outcome? The one person whose calendar you check if the thing didn't happen. If the answer is, well, it depends, or the team, or me and her share it, or whoever has bandwidth, you don't have clarity. You have a coin flip dressed up as a process. And every single time your task comes up, somebody on your team has to spend energy figuring out whose job it is before they can even start the work. Multiply that by 50 tasks a week, and you can feel the drag. Shared ownership is no ownership, and that's the rule. Write it down. Sit down with your org chart, or with your list of roles if you don't have an org chart yet, which at your stage, you probably should. And put 1 single name next to every recurring outcome in the business. Lead generation, client onboarding, booking, content production, hiring, vendor management, financial reporting, all of it, 1 name. If 2 people are working on the same outcome, fine, but one of them owns it, the other supports, and everybody on the team knows which one is which. Shared ownership is no ownership. The 1 name, the 1 outcome, or nothing moves. And there's action 3. Run the 2-week test and be honest about the results. Here's the test. Imagine you disappear tomorrow for 2 weeks. No phone, no email, no Slack. You're just gone. On the beach, off the grid, unreachable. Now answer these 2 questions honestly. And I mean honestly, not optimistic, not founder version. What stops? And what keeps running? Whatever stops, that's where you're in the bottleneck. Wherever it keeps running, that's where you've actually built a business. Most growth stage founders, when they run tests for real, discover the list of things that stop uncomfortably long. Sales conversations stall because no one else can close. Hiring freezes because no one else will make the final call. Certain key clients panic because they only know you. Strategic decisions pile up in a queue waiting for you to return. Cash gets tight because, like me in the check story, you're the one who signs off on releases. That's the map of exactly where you personally are absorbing complexity that should be handled by a system or a person. Now, here's the action. Take the list of things that would stop, the bottlenecks map, and every quarter pick 2 or 3 items with the biggest impact and systematically rebuild them so they don't require you. Write down how you make the decision, document the criteria, hand the document to the right person, watch them do it once, maybe twice, correct their edges, and then let it go. Completely, no peeking. Your job as a founder at this stage is not to be indispensable. That's ego dressed up as responsibility. Your job is to build a business that runs when you're absent, so that your presence is reserved for 4 or 5 things only you can do. The vision, the big relationships, the strategic bets. If the company collapses when you take a vacation, you haven't built a company, you've built yourself a very demanding job that you happen to own. If it can't run without you for 2 weeks, it's not a business. It's a dependency wearing a business costume. If you're building a company in the $1 to $5 million range and you want this kind of tactical breakdown every week, subscribe, because the next video builds directly on this one. Remember, strip first, streamline second, scale third. Cut what wasn't producing before you add anything new. 2, every outcome gets one name, not 2, not a team. Shared ownership is no ownership. And 3, run the 2-week test. Rebuild whatever stops when you're gone. Do that and stop multiplying your mess. Quick check. If you disappeared tomorrow for 2 weeks, what's the first thing in your business that would stop? Drop it in the comments, 1 sentence. I read them all. And when you're done here, watch the video on building standard operating procedures that don't suck. Because the 2-week test is useless if you don't know how to write down what's in your head. Click on the video on the screen. We'll see you there.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode on the Strategy Session, where we take your business from stuck to unstoppable. Here's another video I think you'd enjoy. If you found these insights valuable, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for notifications on our latest videos. Remember, you're not just marketing, you're making history with Venture Gained.